Welcome to Horrors Yet Unseen, the podcast where we assign each other horror movies to watch and then talk about it so our spouses don't have to listen to us go on and on and on about scary stuff they don't like. I'm Zach.
And I'm Steve. Let's talk about some scary movies. By the way, there will absolutely be spoilers in this show. You have been warned. I hired Noah and Noah's friends this past week to clean up my backyard.
Okay.
Did I tell you about this?
No.
I got So our backyard has like a rock bed all the way around it, and I have, for the past 11 years, I've been planning to plant things in that. It never has happened. And it's a pretty large backyard because, when we bought the house, I really do love doing yard work.
Inappropriate.
Anyway, I like doing yard work, and so I got a big lawn. Anyway, I have not done anything with it for the past few years, and the weeds have just become atrocious. I think the weed barrier has degraded, and it's just like the rocks. It's just nothing but weeds. So I'm hiring Noah's friends to clean all the weeds out, and then pull the rocks out, put new barrier on, put the rocks back.
All right.
I got a quote for like $700 from this company to do that stuff. Like
$700 to pull weeds.
They were going to mow them down, and then they were going to spray it twice. I'm like, I don't want you to be. That's not what I want. So I hired Noah's friends for $750, and they did it all. So they haven't done the rocks yet, but that's extra. That was kind of good for them, though.
Yeah, I may visit a pet cemetery. I need to try to find one that's close-ish.
The tricky part is going in and saying, and they say, why do you want to visit? And then you say, well, because I think this is hilarious.
Well, I'm not going to go into the
Oh, you just want to wander around?
Just gonna wander around like a normal person.
You should find. Okay, go to the store first. Buy a full chicken, and
cooked or
bury
uncooked?
it. Definitely uncooked, raw.
Okay, just buy a raw chicken.
Okay. Stick it in the ground at the pet cemetery and see what happens. See if it comes back to life. Because it never specifies in the movie or the book how dead is too dead to come back to life. Could it be like just a chicken thigh that starts twitching?
I'm not going to go to KFC and buy a bucket of chicken and bury a bucket of chicken, even though that would be hilarious and also completely psychopathic. Yeah. But, I'm not down with this idea. I don't feel it in my heart.
Yeah, well,
I do acknowledge that you came up with an idea, and I appreciate that idea.
Wow. I feel gaslighted right now.
I don't understand why. I'm trying to be as sincere, but also not come off like I don't give a flip.
Oh, but it's okay if you don't.
I don't care then.
I fully expect you to not care.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to full go into it. I'm not going to go buy a chicken and then go to a pet cemetery. And then
what if you went to a pet store and asked them if they had any pets that have died recently?
That's not the problem. The problem is not purchasing a dead animal.
Okay.
The problem is going and burying it myself on somebody else's property.
Oh, well.
You can't be like, I brought Dad in the back of the truck. Can I just bury him? I'll dig it myself. You can't do that.
Well, it also, actually, now that I think of it, you would have to ask if they have like a secret Indian burial ground section where that's like where the ground is sour.
Yeah, I don't really want to look up. I don't want to Google secret Indian
Well, I
burial
mean,
grounds.
call
I feel
around and
like
just say, "Do you have any sour ground that I can bury a pet that I want to come back to life?"
sour ground. Okay.
Mm.
So define sour ground just in case they ask.
So, well, it's something that is cursed and that will bring the pet back to life after you bury it.
I don't know that I can get through that with a straight face.
Well, I'm sure they've never heard that either from anybody.
I think that they will kindly ask me to leave because they're normal people. And yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Eternal Pause looks good.
What does?
Eternal Pause.
Oh, the Pet Sematary.
Eternal Pause. I mean, it technically is not a pet cemetery. It's more of a cremation service. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
here's a pet cemetery that also doubles as uh, self storage.
Wait, what? That sounds concerning.
Well, when I tap on it in Google and the images come up, the first image is, a pole building that has several garage doors on it and a bunch of U-Hauls in front of it. So it's self-storage. It's what it is. And the second picture is unverified photo. So, I'm not too sure that people are taking pictures of the pet cemeteries in my area and posting
Yeah.
them to Google. Though this does have 5-star reviews.
Hmm.
So it's at least 5 people had a good time. Or a great experience, or whatever you would say. Well,
So, I want to start out with like, what did you watch last week?
oh my.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think that I watched hardly anything, if I'm going to be honest with you. I most definitely didn't write anything down.
Okay.
So if I'm thinking about it, what did I watch? I watched The Boys. Kept watching The Boys.
Okay.
I won't ask you your favorite question because the answer is clearly a yes. Though I don't know that he's doing it much anymore now after the end of episode. What was it? Episode 6.
Yeah.
I don't know
At
that he
least
would
he.
do that much anymore.
Well, yeah, because I have a feeling now. I mean, now that he doesn't need to store the breast milk anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like maybe his obsessions maybe can be cooled down a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
That whole episode, dude.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that was rough.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
bad.
that was. I think I'd rather watch the orgy episode again before that one.
Yeah, that one was more shocking. This one was just
Disturbing.
it bothered me. Yeah. You learned a
Poor
lot.
little Huey. I learned the things I did not want to learn.
You learned a lot. You learned a lot about everyone. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for Butcher. Like, is Butcher going to die this season? I don't have a clue.
Oh, I
What
doubt
is
it.
it? What is specifically inside him? That's a big mystery. I don't think
He's
we're going to get the I don't think we're going to get the answer to that mystery.
It's like it was inside the little rabbit.
There's a little rabbit inside him.
No, it was remember no, it's like what was inside the rabbit.
Yes, it's like what was
Little
inside the rabbit.
tentacle thingy.
Yeah. Well, it's also I heard a theory that they're moving in the direction of what was it? The Boys anime. You
It's an
remember
anime?
watching that?
No. There were like 2 or 3 episodes or something.
It was like Diabolical. I think that's what it was called.
But like after season 3 or something.
Yeah, let's go. Why can I not find it? It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's called The Boys Diabolical.
Right.
Why
I don't
is
remember
it
how that
taking me
was
to
different.
Amazon's website? I was freaking literally in the Amazon Prime app. Jeff has got to really get it together. What is happening?
Their user experience team needs help.
Yeah. Why don't you go work for them, Steve? I
Because
have.
I heard it's a horrible place to work.
Well,
I want to have some life. I thought about going to work for Netflix, but apparently at Netflix you have to reapply for your job every year. Seriously, they like
what?
go through interviews and stuff. If you don't get rehired, you're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's 8
Yeah.
episodes.
Okay. Yeah. They're short, right? They're
Yeah.
short.
They're only like 14, 13-minute episodes.
Yeah, I think I saw those. But
But in episode 7, someone's uh this man's wife is dying of inoperable cancer.
mm-hmm,
He gives her compound V, or maybe it's temp V.
mm-hmm.
What's is temp V is green, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so he gives her actual V,
Blue V. Yeah.
blue V, and she has this like tentacle alien looking thing that kind of like comes out of her. And
That sounds like, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's only one season left, so I don't really know.
I think they're going toward Butcher being a bad guy.
You think they're going to
Setting
go
up,
towards Butcher being a bad guy?
yeah, setting up as a crazy villain.
Is that because of the ending of episode 6?
Oh, maybe, yeah, sure. Anyway, so I wanted to are you aware of the Netflix secret codes?
I am aware of them. I do not use them mainly because I never remember what they are.
Yeah, I always forget too, but I once in a while, like, I'll remember it, and that's amazing to me how many. So there's a website called Netflix Dash Codes. It's not run by Netflix at all, but they have a ton of the codes on there, and there are other websites you can search for, but they are codes. And I found the website on the page on Netflix that talks about the story behind the codes, and it just was it. It started out as just the people who worked there wanted to have like super super specific categories. That's all they are. There's categories that are super dialed in.
Mm.
Like you can put in a code for 90-minute horror movies, or
What?
a code for binge-worthy British crime TV shows, or code for that's for shows that you should not watch. Don't watch Hungry, or Gal Pal shows, K dramas for beginners, reluctant adults, um, anime horror, Christmas, children, and family films for ages 8 to 10. It's like
Wow.
really super specific. And they have apparently 36,000 codes now. And people at Netflix just add a new code every time they come across some new like subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre or whatever.
I would like to know what if there is a code out there that only has one movie attached to it.
Hmm, could be.
Like if you type in 11,294, are you going to get one movie? And also, I don't know what that code is, so
Yeah.
I just pulled a number out of my butt, you know.
Well, I mean, there's one called Twisted Christmas, which is just bizarre Christmas stuff.
Oh, 6998 is Satanic Stories.
Oh, cool. There's even a code for short ass movies.
What?
Uh,
Yeah. Wow.
but anyway, I thought
So
it was
many
interesting.
codes.
I don't know if there's like a anywhere if there's a official like listing of these anywhere.
Yeah, these are not if these are not exhaustive.
The list that I've given you.
No, this
No, they're
Netflix-codes.com.
definitely not exhaustive. But I mean, like I said,
So
Google Netflix codes, and you'll find lots of sites and search things for them. But I
this
just thought it was,
Netflix.com literally the story behind Netflix secret code
yeah.
is they're no longer secret.
Well, you know, but they're secret because you don't know what they are.
Hmm.
So what you do is you put in if you're on a website, you go to Netflix.com, and then you type in. I think you just type in the code after Netflix.com.
So it looks like netflix.com/browse/genre/insert number.
Correct.
So that's
Yeah,
when
there you go.
you.
You're right.
But if you're just on like Apple TV or whatever, or you're on your phone, you can just hit the search button and type in the number. That's what I've
Exactly.
done in the past. If I'm like, I just want to
Yeah.
watch a horror movie, show me what horror movies there actually are, and
Right.
that's the only code that I've ever typed in.
Yeah, and I like the fact that there are codes in there that you can get super super specific with. Like there's a 90-minute one, or if you want a supernatural horror or gory horror or funny horror, whatever.
Yeah. There's personalized category codes too, it looks like. Like there's a continue watching page, an expanded list of everything you've recently watched, gems for you designed to highlight hidden gems that are likely to interest you based on your viewing history, trending now, and then new and popular. So you technically already have those on your page, but if you wanted to search for them, there's a code specifically for those four.
Right. So on the horror side of things, this website has like horror by itself is 8711, but then there's a code for creature features, B horror movies, cult horror movies, foreign horror movies, deep sea horror movies, horror comedy, serial killer and slasher films, monster movies, supernatural horror, vampire horror, teen screams, werewolf horror, satanic stories, and zombie horror movies. So it's cool.
I'm going to send you this link. What's on Netflix.com? What's on Netflix.com. This page, towards the bottom of the page, has Netflix main genre categories. But underneath that, below, we've embedded over 4,100 category codes that help you delve deep into the Netflix library in 2023.
Wow.
So, and if you sort by show 100 entries, there are 42 pages of Netflix codes.
Wow.
Which is so many codes.
Yeah. Oh, there's campy horror movies, campy sci-fi.
I mean, action really and adventure starring Pierce Brosnan is $34.89.
Wow.
Yeah, action and adventure starring Kurt Russell is $4.10. Action and adventure starring Chris Christopherson is $17.45.
Well, Chris Christopherson, sure.
Yeah, here's starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, $36.83.
Horror movies starring Klaus Kinski.
Did you don't know about Klaus?
No.
Come on.
I do not know Klaus.
Oh, come on. You gotta know about Klaus.
Well, I clicked on it, it doesn't work, so.
It doesn't work?
No.
They're doing Klaus dirty, bro. This is also from 2023, so who knows if this list is... Oh, here you go.
Oh, I'm
here you
signed
go, buddy.
into the wrong
German language movies from 1912. Or 1920, sorry.
I've been wanting to find a way to watch those, specifically.
Well, because I know that you do enjoy everything, and I do mean everything German.
Except for, World War
everything.
II. No,
everything.
Okay. Yes, sir. Except for the bad stuff.
Everything. Okay, so you need to tell me, speaking of Netflix, you need to tell me, because we've not specifically talked about it, at least on the podcast. How was Godzilla -1? Did you finish it? Have you watched it? And am I just going to hang up this call right now?
I did finish it, sir. Yes.
Fantastic.
Watched it.
How was it?
It was okay. It's good.
That's not the answer that I want to hear.
What
do you mean it was just okay?
It was fine.
Oh my gosh.
It was. Here's the deal, Zach.
Yes. Tell me the deal, Steve.
Hot nuclear hot take.
Here we go. You're going to offend all of the Japanese people.
No.
Here we go. Steve's going to drop a... I'm not going to go there. Yeah, you're going to drop a truth bomb. That's too soon, Steve.
Okay.
That's
All
why
right.
I
All right.
stopped
Ready?
myself because I'm like, I feel uncomfortable. Well,
Godzilla is a really lame character.
what? You don't.
Lame.
So what do you
Bad
mean? Like
monster.
Godzilla, the OG Godzilla.
Yeah. That's a dumb character. He's
So
like, he looks. He's a giant lizard who's got a lot of junk in his trunk, moves real slow, and roars stuff, and just I don't know. He doesn't seem all that scary. I don't know. I look at him and I'm like, I kind of laugh at the guy or girl. No one says, or they them. We don't know. But I don't know. I've never liked Godzilla movies. This one was fine. It was predictable. I mean, I knew like almost immediately what was going to happen. So I'm sorry.
unreal.
Can we still be friends?
Yeah, I mean, we can still be friends. I mean, you've definitely bumped down a notch, but it's fine.
It
It's
was an
fine.
entertaining movie. I will say that. It was entertaining. Especially my favorite parts were when the guy slammed his head on the table, like begging people for things. I thought that was funny.
Okay, well, there was nothing funny about this movie, Steve. The Japanese people were really going through something. Okay,
Yeah, they
there's
were
nothing
really
funny
going
about their own trauma.
through the trauma of a giant lizard.
It's the symbolism of what
Oh, now you're
Godzilla.
okay with symbolism.
I feel like this is a trap. I feel like you tricked me. I feel like this is
It's
a
not a trap.
trap.
No, that's not a trap.
Yeah. Well, listen. Have you seen any, like, besides the new American Godzilla? Have you seen any of the original Godzilla movies?
I have never seen any Godzilla movie all the way through, but until this one.
Have you seen the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie?
No, never even seen that one.
You've not seen Godzilla? Was it Godzilla 2000 or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
What's that
Yeah, I
movie
never
called?
did. And I never did, but I think I've seen little clips here and there growing up. There was always it was like on TV shows. Can we still be friends? Or like some random channel on the TV. And for some reason, Godzilla never interested me, just because I don't know. I mean, of course at the time I had no clue it was an allegory for like the nuclear war and stuff like that, and I respect that, and I understand that, but
Dude, you
just
gotta
in and
watch.
of itself, the like the dumbest movie on that I could possibly watch right now that's out just came out on what's it called on Max, I think just was released. It's the one where Godzilla fights with King Kong.
Is that
I
the
don't know.
brand new one?
Yeah, and I no the brand new one's just in the theaters, right?
I don't have a clue.
Just the concept of it. It's like I don't know. It's so. First of all, it's not possible for an animal to be that big on the planet Earth. It just doesn't work. Physics don't work.
Okay, the math isn't
So
mathing for you. Okay,
the math
okay.
isn't. The physics isn't mathing for me. So
Okay.
no, the bones would break. They're too big. I for some reason, and I know it's stupid because I watch lots of fantasy stuff and things that are impossible, but for some reason I get hung up with giant animals.
So you don't like Pacific Rim? That's a no for you.
That one's okay.
So okay, that doesn't make any sense, and my brain is
It doesn't make
officially
any sense at
broken.
all.
It doesn't
None
make
at
any
all.
sense because you're like, oh, the physics of a giant animal is too much, but then you're like, oh, we can build giant machines that we control via like a Neuralink.
Right.
Two
And
people together.
maybe that was just so far out there
And
that it registered in my brain as fantasy or something. And the other stuff's it's like completely realistic, except for the one giant lizard that comes out of the ground or out of the sea. I don't know. I'm
we're
not
just
saying I'm
peeling
a
the
rational
onion
man.
back, Steve. We're just peeling these little layers back and
I'm not
finding
saying
out
I'm a
the
rational man, Zach. I'm
complete inconsistencies in your thinking. That's fine.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
fine.
it's the only inconsistency in my life, so
Yeah, okay.
just let it slide. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it go. Okay. Okay. So if you want to watch highbrow horror movies, 3261672. That's what you got to type in. It's a giant number. Like
Okay,
Higher Ground
326.
Productions is 814-86267.
Ooh, have you seen Death Note? That's good. Yeah.
No, I've not seen Death Note.
Yeah. Don't watch any live action version of the Death Note. Just don't do it. You gotta
Okay,
watch the anime.
this is a comic book
It's an anime
or okay.
from Japan.
Okay.
There are no giant lizards in it.
Well,
But
I'll be the judge
this
of that.
guy finds a book that anybody's name he writes down, they die.
That
It's like
sounds
15
like
minutes.
something that I want to find.
Yeah, and he can write down how they die or when they die. And so it's all about trying to find this person who's got the Death Note.
Well,
Cool.
okay.
Yeah.
Don't watch any live action, but I can watch like anime versions of like.
You can watch the anime version of it. It's really good.
Okay. I
It's
just
an
can't watch
anime.
it. There's live action versions of this Death Note.
Yeah, I think there's even a live action version of Death Note on Netflix. And as a rule, any live action version of any anime is just trash.
So shouldn't watch The Last Airbender.
The live action one, that one is it's okay. It's different. It's it's different.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. I'm just learning the rules, Steve.
Sure.
I'm just
And it also
playing
you're not
in
allowed,
your world. You know?
Right? Exactly. Well, yeah, you're not allowed to watch anime that is dubbed. One must watch anime with Japanese audio and the subtitles.
Now,
or you'll be canceled.
Why should I not? If I'm just going to go all out, why not just go, Zach? You need to learn Japanese.
Well, the real fans do learn Japanese.
Oh, okay.
I'm not joking.
Well,
my daughter actually knows some Japanese now from watching so much anime.
Amazing.
Yep. Yeah, she'll go, they didn't translate that the right way.
Okay.
I'm like, but who are you?
Cool.
Did you write this down? The plot of every 80s movie in our show notes?
Yeah, I did write that down.
What's the plot of every 80s movie?
Okay, so I started to watch. The Chopping Mall. Okay, I've never seen it before. I have not finished it. The plot of every 80s movie is doing it. That's it. That's the plot of every 80s movie. It's doing it.
Just sex.
Just sex. It's doing it. That's it. It's just every single one. I'm going to paint with the broadest brush. Every single one.
Every 80s movie or every 80s horror movie?
We'll say every 80s. Let's say every 80s horror movie.
Okay.
Like that's the central thing. Everybody focuses on Jason or Michael. Nope. Not the point. Everybody focuses on whatever they're gonna. Nope. The serial killer, the slasher, the whatever. Not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is to find a mate and do it. That's the whole point of the movie.
And then get killed.
And no, that's secondary in comparison. And
I can see that.
because the beginning of Chopping Mall is just, it's so forward with, hey, let's have a party and just do it. Like,
right.
It's so much. Yeah. Hey, have you talked to Jebecca? Oh, no, I've not talked to Jebecca. Oh, if you come to the party tonight, Jebecca said that she'll do it. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. You're so right.
And there are these scenes that are completely fleshed out around doing it. Like,
yeah.
Like, just the dialogue of it. Not even the action. Just the dialogue between the bros or between the women. Like, my gosh.
I heard a really interesting take on that, actually, about how obviously the trope about if you have sex in the horror movie, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there was kind of a movement in Hollywood, sort of to, especially when the AIDS crisis came along.
Yes.
Before that, it was just about purity culture. Like, let's keep our we want to keep our teens safe. And so anytime you had sex, you would die. Or if you smoked pot, you would die.
Okay.
And it was like emphasizing the purity culture of things to try to scare kids. It's like people think of it like It Follows. It's like all about like don't have sex type of thing.
Okay.
Not that it was about that, but and then AIDS came along, and that became a huge scary thing, and a lot of people made movies about it, like zombies were the people with AIDS, sort of, and you were afraid of them, and you don't want to touch them, and there's all kinds of like cultural stuff mishmash, and it's obviously not always true, but no, I thought it was interesting. Just kind of a general.
When there's nothing that will get me to not watch a movie faster than if you equate it to purity culture. So I think if we want to keep this podcast alive,
every 80s movie that's horror.
Don't ruin 80s horror movies for me. They're the best. They're the best of them. Okay, they're the best of the horror genre. 80s horror movies are the best because they're just over the top and outlandish, and it's crazy. I love it. I need to finish Chopping Mall. I wasn't dissatisfied with it. I was like, these freaking, alpha 5s are running around. Do you even get that reference?
Like from Short Circuit?
Oh, Power Rangers. I also thought,
I don't watch Power Rangers.
Come on. Are you too old for that?
I missed it barely, yeah.
Friggin' Gen Xer over here trying to be too cool for school. So, yeah, it was Alpha from Power Rangers mixed with the robot from Short Circuit.
Oh, I see the Alpha 5 head. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. That's basically like they just stole a couple props from the prop department.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. It's basically
the thing.
It's basically the same thing. And yeah, not the direction, by the way, not the direction I thought it was going to go. At least in the beginning, not the direction I thought it was going to go.
Wow.
Killer robots that literally give you 0.3 seconds to identify yourself, or they're going to kill you. Again, I haven't finished it. You're allowed to spoil it.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with it. But it's wild to me that they're like, identify yourself. And if you even have just an ounce of sass in you, and they're like, or hesitation, they're like, don't move or we're going to kill you. That's freaking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to me. So, but also, that's why they're good, is because that isn't a wild idea. It's just a wild idea, and I love it. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to Chopping Mall in a minute.
Yes, we will. What about Maxxxine there, bud?
Yeah, let me start with what I watched, and I'll get to Maxxxine at the end.
Oh, fantastic! Great. So, let's go.
I watched The Monster, and I think I texted you about this. The Monster. Wow. I was in the middle of watching that on Max. Like 3/4 of the way through, it was starting to get really, really intense, and it was 10 p.m. here in Mountain Time, and so, which was midnight on Eastern, and apparently at midnight Eastern, that movie went off Netflix, went off of Max, and it just stopped. And I hit play. Amazing. It's like this title is not available. What? And so I had to find other ways to watch it and to finish it out, because like for 15 minutes more.
Right.
So weird. I think it's like if you start a movie, they should just let you finish the damn thing.
Well, not just that, but like, because I understand I'm in the Eastern time zone, it's the dominant time zone. We run the freaking world. Okay. So, and I don't want to hear any sass about it. Okay. We run the world.
You're right.
Live in the Eastern time zone or go to Mars.
Absolutely.
Like, Cleveland or nothing. It's just okay. So unnecessary aggression. But because because everywhere else in the United States is not, like 3/4 of the United States is in a different time zone, progressively 1 hour behind each other.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that they would at least go Pacific and allow people midnight there, 3 a.m. here, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
typically, if you're going to release an album, that's typically kind of the rule, is that you release an album at midnight Pacific time.
Right.
Maybe you don't. I've at least seen some things that are not available to me at midnight. They're available to me at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, you got to pick something. Yeah, a lot of stuff is based off of west of Pacific, right?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think that it's odd that if you're literally in the middle of watching something, it would make sense that if you lived on, if you're at least in the middle of watching something, that they wouldn't pull the rug out from underneath you.
I mean, it was a few minutes after midnight because of like the buffering. Like your computer downloads a few more minutes ahead of time to like, account for hiccups in the internet speed and stuff like that. So
Right,
I got like 5 minutes in, and then anyway, but I survived. It's okay.
you survived.
And then I had a bad day at work, and so I watched Mayhem.
Okay, yes, I think we talked about that off air.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
which is still a fantastic movie. It's a great movie.
Yes.
Then I watched Loop Track on Shudder.
Okay.
Randomly saw it. I thought, well, whatever, I'll click on it. And it was pretty darn good. 4-starred it. It's a New Zealand movie, which is good. I like New Zealand and New Zealanders.
Okay.
With the news this past week, I might look into moving there. Who knows?
Okay. I don't know what do you mean? News? What?
You don't want to get political, do you?
Okay. Just keep moving. Forget I just edit that
really,
out. I didn't ask
really
anything.
It's really good because it's like I don't know, suspenseful. I don't want to give too much away. I recommend watching it. I don't know if I don't want to say too much. Anyway, then I watched yesterday. I saw Maxxxine in the theater, and I was so disappointed, man.
Yes, I'm not overly. I wasn't on board with seeing X.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see X until, like, honestly, I don't think I saw X until this past year.
Yep.
Maybe that's not true, because I did watch X before I watched Pearl. I don't know when I watched Pearl, but
X was the best one. Pearl was okay.
I wasn't entirely a fan of any of them. Like they're decent first watch.
Right. I would say so.
They're decent for me. Other people can be different, and I'm allowing them to be different, despite the fact that they are wrong. But yeah, they're decent first time watches. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm bored. Let's grab some popcorn and turn on Pearl. Like, I wouldn't do that. Yeah. So I wasn't overly excited about Maxxxine. Also, the publicity for Maxxxine is a lot.
Right. And I think that's why I kind of expected more.
I fear the same thing for Longlegs, because Neon is doing a huge campaign for it.
Really hyping it up.
And I mean, we're talking about issuing. Oh, literally, there's a Longlegs advertisement in Letterboxd right now. They're doing the code. Have you seen that? Like I don't know, what the heck is it called? Like,
it's like
the different letters.
Oh, like a cipher.
Yeah. But yeah, they've done a bunch of different stuff. They have done a decent job of not showing you what Nicolas Cage looks like.
Yep.
I will be the judge of whether or not I can identify him. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't like it when people are like, I didn't even know it was this person. I knew. The only person that I've ever felt that about is the Penguin from the Batman. Have you seen the new Robert Pattinson Batman movie?
Yeah. No, okay. I've seen clips. I mean,
100% could not tell that and I'm literally blanking on his name. Colin Farrell could not. I was like, holy crap! I knew that it was a dude in prosthetics, but as soon as I looked up the transformation, I was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah, Christy and I watched the trailer, and I'm like, that's Colin Farrell. She's like, shut up.
No. Yeah. I showed Casey the exact same thing, and she's like, that's not. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. But I'll be the judge. I don't like it when people are like, oh, well, kudos to the prosthetics team that they can mask people like that. But, I mean, also, you didn't hide the fact that it's Nicolas Cage, so I'm kind of looking for Nicolas Cage features in the face.
Right.
Anyway,
his voice is pretty distinct.
I'm worried about it, though. I'm worried about it being Longlegs not necessarily being the best, despite the fact that currently there are 6 reviews for it, and it's certified fresh or 100% or whatever it is. I'm like, those people were paid. Conspiracy theory at work.
But so yeah, with Maxxxine, I'm not a massive fan of the other ones, but I thought Pearl and X were good. They're good movies, good horror movies. Different, X was a slasher, and then Pearl was just like psychotic girl, and it was kind of different vibe. But I was expecting Maxxxine to be a horror movie, and this is not a horror movie. It's a thriller. It's like a whodunit serial killer movie, and it just falls flat. It doesn't really. It's not very coherent.
So can you be more specific with that? You're not spoiling anything for me. I was already going to wait. I didn't get to that. I rambled on about other movies. I'm going to wait till it got to streaming anyway. I was not going to buy a ticket for it.
Right. So, do you want me to try to avoid spoilers or
no?
Okay.
Don't avoid anything.
So the plot is that she's trying to get make it big. She's going to be a star,
right?
Just like she's doing in Max or in X.
Yeah,
the same person goes. She's the one who kills the lady who kills Pearl as an old woman as she's driving off, and she drives off and she just disappears. Nobody knows that she's connected to the murders there. Nobody knows that she was there. And somebody starts sending her as she's auditioning for roles, and somebody starts sending her proof that she was there, evidence that she was there, and like, I will out you, and I will tell people that you were connected to the murders, all this stuff, if you don't meet me at this place in this evening at this time. And so, in the meantime, she gets a big role starring in a horror film, and her friends start getting killed, and they wind up with like a pentagram like carved into their body or burned into their body someplace. And several of her friends die, and then she finally goes to this place, and there was a really cool point. Kevin Bacon plays a private detective helping this unnamed person find Maxxxine, and he, Kevin Bacon, confronts her several times and tries to chase her down and catch her and take her to the guy, which is causing problems with her on this new film set that she's going to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And so the director's like, whatever is causing problems in your life, take care of it now or you're gone from this film. She's like, I intend to. So she and her manager / lawyer, played by Giancarlo Esposito, they go and they knock out Kevin Bacon, stick him in his car in a like a car press, like at a junkyard, and they just squish him. As he's begging for his life, they just straight up squish him.
Wow. That's some Breaking Bad stuff right there, dude.
Pretty bad. And so at the same time, I guess there was a real serial killer in 1985 in LA area.
Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker. And so the Night Stalker was killing people, and the people who were dying, everybody thought that was the Night Stalker, but there was something slightly different. And they're like, is it a copycat? Whatever. And turns out to be, long story short, it turns out to be her dad, the preacher, who at the very end of X, you see that video of him?
Yeah.
So it turns
That
out to
was
be
like the
him.
beginning of X, wasn't it? Like there was a TV preacher.
That's true. It was yeah, several times in X, I think.
Yeah. It
But
was at
it
least
turned
the
out to be
first thing that I noticed in X was
mhm,
this televangelist. Yeah.
right,
But then Pearl says, or not Pearl,
Maxine.
Mia. I'm going to say Mia because I don't know. Says something about it that her dad was, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was Maxine. Um,
Maxine. Oh, duh. Freaking duh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Maxine finds out it's her dad, and her dad is
Her dad is the Night Stalker?
no, her dad is like the copycat Night Stalker. So there's a Night Stalker who gets caught
Killing her
during this
friends.
film,
Okay, got it.
but then her dad is killing her friends, and her dad
Interesting.
has like this cult that he's got going on, like people following him,
Of course, that makes sense.
and they try to they're gonna he's helping these women like get rid of their sins or something by slicing them up or something. It's bizarre.
Yeah,
It
that
doesn't really
makes
make any sense.
100% sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's
but
the way that you do that.
but then there's this whole side plot, like this guy comes up to Mia or Maxine in this alleyway with a knife, and she pulls a gun on him,
I
and you
think
think,
I've
oh, this
seen
is
this clip.
you think, oh, this is the Night Stalker or something.
He was just
She
kidding.
has him strip his clothes off, lay face down, and she steps on the guy. She smashes the guy's balls with her feet, with her heel.
I don't like that.
No, it was painful to watch.
That's
But
very
then
the Boys season or episode 6.
and then there's nothing mentioned about that guy ever again. There's nothing about the fact that it seems like she's like trying to chase down the killer, and then she stops chasing down the killer, and it's like, what are you doing here? And
Mm-hmm.
there was like, I felt like it was like a lost opportunity in a lot of ways for that kind of side. Like, is she going to chase down the killer or not? And then there's this whole thing about the police trying to get her to help her find the killer, and I don't know. They end of story. They chase. They break into the cult, chase the dad up to the Hollywood sign. The two cops get killed, and she's the only one left that knows what's going on, and she blows her dad's head off with a shotgun at like point blank range. And then she becomes a super famous for taking down this cult single handedly. And then her movie goes forward. It's like a sequel to a horror movie, and that goes really big. And so she's super famous, as she's always wanted to be. And then it's kind of the end. So, maybe I think part of the problem is my expectations. If this movie was by itself and I just happened to watch it on like Netflix or something, yeah, maybe it'd be okay. But the as it is sitting next to Pearl and X doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit at all. So felt like an afterthought.
That's probably because Pearl and X or X and then Pearl were filmed back to back. They already had the scripts kind of there and could utilize same set or whatever the case is, and they shot them back to back. But if
Was Maxxine not written yet?
I don't know the answer to that. It's more just like these movies are shot back to back, so it is this continuous stream of thought. Both Mia and Ty were kind of in that world there, and
yep.
So you're just using Mia Goth's character again, and I've not seen it, so I can't fully attest to it. But if it's disconnected, I wonder how it could be connected. What is, besides just using the same characters? Because you could use the same characters or reoccurring characters, but if this is, and you're not the only one who feels dissatisfied with Maxxine there. I'm very much waiting for the audience score. I've not looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes, but if my guess is that the audience is going to vote this thing way down.
Yeah.
Like it probably is going to land in the 50s or 60s. Like when the dust kind of settles.
Currently showing 80% audience.
Hmm.
75% reviewers. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what? I'm not, because that's my opinion.
Yeah, you had an experience, and this is your experience. And also, everybody, if people have a problem with it, get your own freaking podcast and talk about it.
I also was kind of
Like,
distracted by the entire time. I was distracted by the fact that the AMC theater, which I thought was super nice because it has like heated seats and stuff. I've never been to this one before.
yeah,
They did not shut the lights off the entire freaking time.
that sounds like an automated thing.
I went and asked them. I'm like, can you turn the lights off? Because it dimmed down. The bright lights are bright, and then they dim down for the trailers, and then they go all the way off for the movie. Right?
Yeah,
That's how it's done. That's how it's done. Well, they dimmed down for the trailers, and then they just stayed dimmed the whole time, and they were, you could see too much. It was too distracting, and I don't know. Maybe that colored it. But I went and asked to turn down. Like, oh, we'll go do that, and they didn't do it.
lame.
Screw those guys.
Don't go back. Boycott.
Not going back. Boycott. Anyway, that's all I had to say about Maxxxine. So,
Yeah.
and then the other thing I watched, finishing up my watched things, Polite Society, dude, it's on Prime. The best movie I've seen all year. That was so fun. It's like
Polite Society.
It's like an action comedy movie, and it's this gal's from, they're like Pakistani family or Indian family living in England, and she wants to be a stunt woman, and it's just so funny. It's so perfect because like all the jokes are funny, the action's fun, the plot's fun, like the relationships are great. 5-star movie. It's great. Watched it last night with family.
Movie. Great.
Everybody loved it. And then I watched Chopping Mall this morning. So that's what I watched.
All right. Yeah, I don't think that I finished actually saying all. Like, I don't think that I watched anything. I mean, besides The Boys,
Yeah.
I watched my movie, The House That Jack Built. I can't remember. Freaking depression, dude. I don't have a clue.
It's probably good that you didn't watch too much.
I didn't watch. Yeah, I didn't watch too much.
It's okay to have a life, you know.
Well, it's not about having a life. My life has been freaking just sit on the couch.
Anyway, do you want to move on to movies that we watched for like the signed movies?
Yeah. We by the time out we hit we have 500 followers on Instagram.
What?
I'm thankful for that.
That's amazing.
I'm thankful for them. A couple of them reached out because like I posted, not to grab attention. I'm not trying to grab attention. It was just more like, hey, we have this social media platform. I haven't been posting on a regular basis, and wanted to just let everybody kind of know what's up. A couple people reached out. Super grateful that they reached out. But we hit, I think I set a preliminary goal for like 1,000 followers by Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, not by Christmas, by the end of the year. And like, I think we're on track to get that before the end of the year. But
cool.
I'm super grateful for it, and it's super cool that we got. I think we're currently sitting at. Let's see. We're currently sitting at 509.
Wow.
We did hit a string of spam that brought us over, like
Really?
spam.
Bots.
Yeah. Yeah. Where the picture is like this scantily clad girl, right? and nothing is really coherent. The name, nothing is really coherent. There are no posts, and everything is basically the exact same. Also, you get like 6 at a time. So I got like,
right.
I'm like, oh, you have like a bunch of new followers. Cool. Let's go and see who they are and follow them. And like, literally, I think we had like 6 in a row in one day. And I was like, no, block. Because, so yeah, that pushed us over 500 at one point. I'm not going to count that.
Right.
Because they immediately fell off. So, yeah.
Understood.
509. Also, just because we should wrap it up in a tight little bow, the Lost Boys won our
nice
summer horror battle royale. It Follows. This is the championship round was It Follows versus the Lost Boys. It Follows was 40%, and the Lost Boys was 60%. So
it's too bad a good movie did not win.
Yes, I understand. The people who voted. Who else? Let's see. Oh, the You Run podcast voted for both of them. Scott and Mark voted for the Lost Boys. So that's immediate
Those
beef.
guys?
That's immediate beef that we have with the Brits.
Those guys.
And
well, what do they know? They lost America.
Well, that's too soon, Steve. Also, we don't want to get political. That's not. Even though I did see, was it you who sent it to me, or did I saw a meme that was of George Washington, and it was like, "Have a fun day at work," like, and it's so stupid that it made me chuckle. But it's just, again, it's unnecessary aggression, and it's funny, and it's pointless, and it's not meant to be serious,
right?
But anyway, yeah. So I wanted to wrap that up. That's one of many of polls that I want to do up on Instagram, but I will continue to dig myself out of this and keep on posting. Also, just again, Steve, because I said it in a text message and I figured I'd just put you on blast here, just whenever you want to post that next episode, just, I mean, at this point, we might just want to stop saying every Friday, because it's just whenever Steve feels like it at the end of the day.
You said every Friday. I didn't say every Friday.
Well, I feel like we came to some sort of agreement, but maybe I was misunderstanding. Maybe it was the Ozempic talking. I don't really know what's going on between the two of us, and also I'm just being, again, it's needless. It's needless aggression.
You're just being a jerk. Oh, I see. Yeah, I said no.
It's needless aggression.
No.
If I can throw you under the bus, I will 100% do it for a laugh. Because please like me. Yeah. Anyway, we should get to our movies now.
All right.
We've been talking for an hour.
We should get to our movies now.
All right, listeners. That's a wrap for another episode of Horrors Yet Unseen. Thanks for joining us.
And we'd love for you to become part of the conversation. Just drop us a voicemail at 1-216-202-5495 or email us at horrorsyetonunseen@gmail.com. And keep up with the latest by following us on Instagram. That handle is at horrorsyetonunseenpod. We'd also appreciate it if you like and review our show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your support means a lot to us. See you next time.